before we start, it's just 10 quick questions, and circle true or false for each one of those.
There's two here. There's two here.
Yeah.
I should have brought my glasses. No bail. I was like, okay. Are they gonna hit me? Others are ahead of, oh, is that personal belief, right?
Yeah, so it's accessing your current environment when it comes to growth by answering true or false to each of the statements. The first one is, others are ahead of me. The second one is,
So it's just what I feel.
Yes, about yourself. I'm continually challenged. 3 is, my focus is forward. 4 is, the atmosphere is affirming. 5 is, I'm often out of my comfort zone. 6 is, I wake up excited. 7 is, failure is not my enemy. 8, others are growing. 9, people desire change. And 10, growth is modeled and expected.
I'm like 50-50.
Yeah, I did a 50-50 on one of them.
I got all of them.
Just hold, you'll see.
I should have
You're not getting graded for this.
You're
not getting graded for this.
That's too funny.
I wrote all through.
I should have lied.
One of them I just ended up. I get a 50-50 on one of them.
I should have waited till she answered, and then I'll be like,
You're so funny. So,
Our
our chapter is the law of environment, growth thrives in conducive surroundings, presented by me, Ashley. Hi guys. Yay. So, here is what you just took. So at the bottom of this is, if you answered false to more than 5 of these statements, your current environment may be hampering your growth. You'll need to determine whether you need to change or improve your environment in order to reach your potential. Hopefully the presentation is going to lead you to the environment that you guys will need. So that's kind of for your own personal knowledge of what you are looking for.
so you'll have 4 notes.
She's like, yes.
The right place.
The first step towards success is taken when you refuse to be captive of the environment you first find yourself in, which is a quote from Mark Kane. So in other words, you're not going to settle or play victim. Instead, change, evolve, and move on. At some point during every person's lifetime, there comes a need to change environments in order to grow. If we want to grow to reach our potential, we must be in the right environment. To know when it's time for a change, you'll want to ask yourself, is the environment conducive to reaching your full potential? If you're always at the head of the class, then you're in the wrong class. The best place to learn is always where others are ahead of you. So same thing as with the kid. What happens when they're ahead? They will get bored. Are they going to move on and keep going if they're bored? Probably not. So if you're always at the head, you need a challenge, and you can't move on without a challenge.
Change depends on your choices. Whether you are a success or a failure in life has little to do with your circumstances. It has much more to do with your choices. That's a quote by Nita Quibben. It's possible to change without growing, but it's impossible to grow without changing. One of the keys to making the right changes that allows us to grow is knowing the difference between a problem or a challenge, which I can change, and the fact of life, which I cannot. You must deal with the many facts of life. You cannot change when or where you were born, but you can change your attitude about it. A problem is different. It is something you can do something about and grow through. When you change your attitude regarding a problem, you open many opportunities for growth. There are 6 choices to put ourselves in a better place for growth, according to John C. Maxwell.
So assess your current environment. Change for the sake of change is not going to help you. If you're going to make changes, you must make sure they're the right ones. Start by assessing where you are now and what you want to change. One of the ways to judge whether you're growing and in conducive growth environment is to discern whether you're looking forward or are you looking back.
When considering making a transition from one professional environment to the other, it's important to consider these 3 main factors. 1, did I get to the top too fast? 2, do I feel challenged enough? 3, was there room for growth? The answers to these questions may lead you to learning the truth that needing to make changes to what you are doing and where you are going.
To do that, ask yourself these questions to help you understand who and what nurtures you personally. Music, what songs lift you? Why does it make you feel this way? Obviously, we all have songs that we play for a reason, whether you're going to an appointment and you want to capture them, upbeat music. We all know if we're in a mood and we just want to wallow in it, we're going to listen to some sad song. So think about what you're doing when something touches you. Same thing with your thoughts. What ideas speak to you? What do you go back to? What keeps coming up in your mind? Because obviously if it keeps coming up, it's something you need to pay attention to. Experiences. What experience rejuvenates you? How do they motivate you to feel good? Your friends. What people encourage you? Who's positive in your life? You're more drawn to the people that are going to make you feel good. So what is it about those people that makes you feel that way? Recreation. What activities revive you? What is it you like about them? That would be your commonality with people, your hobbies that you do, if you like drawing, if you like hiking. Your soul. What spiritual exercises strengthen you? Do they lead you to your why or what you need? Your hopes. What dreams inspire you? How do they lead you? And how are you going to achieve them? If you're doing something that you feel is here and now and you're settling and it's going to get you through, but you know that your dream is not what you're doing, what is it you're going to do to get you there? Home. What family members care for you? What influence do they have on you? Are they holding you back? Are they pushing you forward? Giftedness. What blessings activate you? Who, what, and why? Basically, mostly your whys. Memories. What recollections make you smile? Who's involved? What are you doing? And where are you? Those usually are going to get you to where you need to be if you follow those ideas. And then books. What have you read that has changed you? And if you go back, can it help you to change again? Asking these questions will allow you to know yourself and to assess whether you are getting what you need in your current environment. And if you are, then celebrate. If you're not, then you need to prepare to make some hard choices.
2, change yourself and your environment. If you need to make a major change to your environment, you must determine to change yourself at the same time. Change yourself but not your environment will equal to growth to be slow and difficult. Change your environment but not yourself, growth will be slow and less difficult. Change your environment and yourself, growth will be faster and more successful. As you consider changing yourselves and your environment, think about the elements that the right kind of growth environment provide. The right soil to grow in, what nourishes me, which is growth. The right air to breathe in, which keeps me alive, purpose. The right climate to live in, what sustains me, people. If our environment is cold, we are cold. If it is hot, we are hot. If you want to grow, then spend time with great people in great places at great events, read great books, and listen to great tapes to change your life.
So, sorry, I'll stick on that one for a minute. So, what a growth environment will look like. You want to make sure that others are ahead of you, that you continually feel challenged, that your focus is going to be forward, the atmosphere is affirming, I'm out of my comfort zone, I wake up excited, failure is not my enemy, people desire change, and growth is modeled and expected. When your intuition is telling you that your environment isn't conducive to personal growth, go back to that list. And if most of these statements did not apply to the current situation, you need to change yourself and change your environment. This section goes back to what you get to take with you on whether or not you need to change your environment. Change who you spend time with. As you know, and I'm sure you all heard, birds of a feather flock together. King Solomon of Israel wrote, "Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." The types of people we should spend our time with: people with integrity, people who are positive, people who are ahead of us professionally, people who lift us up instead of knock us down, people who take the high road, never the low, and people that are growing. You want to always surround yourself with only people who are going to lift you higher, which is helpful.
We become the combined average of 5 people we hang around the most, according to John Maxwell. 33% rule. You can divide people in school, on your team, coworkers, or any anyone in the bottom, middle, and top third, and they are always have the same characteristics. The top third, maintain a positive attitude, are leaders, influencers, and game changers. The middle third are happy and positive when things are good, down in times of adversity, and circumstances dictate attitude. The bottom third, suck the life out of you. Take energy and motivation from you. And we know how those people are gonna be. We wanna aim for the top third and maintain a positive attitude, our leaders, influencers, and game changers. Okay, yes, I have. So it is highly recommended that we find an accountability partner to take the growth journey with you. And to also, this person will help you stick to your right decisions and help you avoid making the wrong ones. And a good accountability partner should love you unconditionally, just like your pets. Desire your success, be mature, ask you agreed upon questions, help you when you need help. You cannot take the growth journey alone, not if you want to reach your potential. The most significant factor in any person's environment is the people.
Challenge yourself in your new environment. One of the most positive things about being in a growth environment is it gives you room to fly, but you must be intentional about finding and creating those growth opportunities. You must develop the habit and discipline of challenging yourself. You must also seize the growth opportunities you have and make the most of them by challenging yourself. One of the ways they say that you can do that, and it helps, which is true, is making your goals public to help make you accountable, because you don't want to look like a failure to your others as well as yourself. So when you set goals, it's good to let others know, which is why the people in your environment are important, because they are the ones that are going to lift you up. And always remember, if it doesn't challenge you, it's not going to change you.
So ask 5 questions before the learning time. 1, what are their strengths?
Hi, Leo.
2, what are they learning now? Hi, Leo.
Everyone, hi.
You're here. I know that is really like.
James is looking at you like, that wasn't me.
No, I had an appointment though.
That wasn't me.
Okay, we'll start from the beginning. So what are the 5 questions before the learning time? So 1, what are their strengths? 2, what are they learning now? 3, what do I need right now? 4, what have they met? Where have they read? Or what have they done that has helped me? And number 5, why haven't I asked that I should? Okay, number 5, focus on the moment. Today is when everything that is going to happen from now on begins. The changes we want to make in our lives come only in the present. What we do now controls who we become and where we are in the future. If you need to make changes in yourself and your environment, don't worry about your past. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow has not come. We have only today. Let us begin. Mother Teresa.
Move forward despite criticism. Do not wait for a change of environment before you act. Cause a change of environment through actions as to cause yourself to be transferred to a better environment, which is said by Wallace D. Wattles. Growth always comes from taking action, and taking action always brings criticism. Before making a major change, seek wise counsel if you can, but always make your own decisions, because you're ultimately accountable for the choices that you make in life. When you take charge of your life, there's no longer need to ask permission of other people or society at large. When you ask permission, you give someone veto power over your life. Peace has its victories, but it takes brave men and women to win them. So basically, everybody in life, in order to get ahead, you're going to have to fight something. You're going to have to overcome something. That's how you're going to get where you're going. There's good choices, there's bad choices. Obviously, it's good to help ask your mentor, ask who's guiding you, what they think, but when it comes to the end, it's your life. Your choices are yours, it's not theirs. So that's where that part kind of comes from.
Okay. The role leaders play in an environment. As the leader of an organization, It is the leader's responsibility to take initiative and create a positive growth environment for others. When leaders match people in roles in their organizations, it's not enough to weigh what people have done in the past. They must also consider what people could do if the environment allowed them to flourish. Likewise, it's a good idea to help people understand what is missing if they leave a growth environment. If you're in a positive growth environment, be grateful. Thank the people who have helped you create it and reward them by striving to reach your potential. If you are not, do what you must to change your environment and yourself. If you are a leader, do everything in your power to grow yourself and create the right environment in which others can grow. It will be the best investment you ever made as a leader. I can change the direction of the wind, but I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination.
So, conclusion of ours, basically, the power is yours. What you wish to do, you have the opportunity, the choice to do. Again, your environment, choice to change is yours. You can stay where you are, or you can decide to change both yourself and your environment, like we learned, to move forward, to reach what and where you want to be.
So,
Any questions or?
questions?
Anybody wonder why you took the quiz in the beginning? Anybody surprised by their answers or what they meant? Get you excited to do something different? But Sylvia, I think, wanted to say
Yes. Okay, so, okay, so I had my first event about a week ago, and it was great. So thank you for all of you that attended. So just a quick recap on what we talked about during that event was the California Dream for All is coming up. So last time when I had the event, they didn't have a date of the funds being released. Now it seems like the funds are going to be released in April, and there's going to be maybe about a 2-3 week gap. So what does that mean? So this year they are doing it a little different. What they're doing is you are going to submit an application, and we're going to submit it to underwriting and get approved to get the 20%, be eligible to get the 20%. And it can be 20% or 150,000, whichever's less, okay? Once you get approved, then CalHAFA is gonna send you, is that what it is? Is that a voucher, right?
Yes.
Or you're gonna submit the application and then they give you a voucher?
Yeah, the
Sorry
letter.
about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so once you get approved, then your name goes in a pot, and then it's gonna be a lottery. So they're gonna try to, I guess, even it out so that all the funds can go to a certain, I guess, county all over California. And once your name goes in there, if you get selected, you're gonna get a voucher. And if you get the voucher, they're gonna say, Vita, you have 150,000, 20%, go ahead and go buy your house. And during that time, they're gonna put all the names all the people that applied. So if you applied in January or March, everybody has the same chance to win that opportunity to get that money. And one of the main requirements is you have to be a first generation home buyer. That means your parents can't be homeowners. And they can't be homeowners for the past 7 years. That's the key. That's the difference instead of the regular CalHAFA, which you just have to be a first time home buyer for 3 years. This time is for the last 7 years, your parents cannot have owned a property.
That's just for the 20% down, right?
That's for the 20%. Yeah.
And then you have so much time after you get the voucher.
90 days. Thank you, Leo. Yes. So you have 90 days after you get the voucher to identify a house, make an offer, and be an escrow. So that's sort of a little bit of, go ahead.
Is it like a silent second? Does it ever have to be paid back?
Great question. Thank you so much. Yes, it is a silent second. And what that is you don't have to pay it back. There's no interest accumulated, but you do have to pay it back if you sell the house, if you refinance, there's a change in title. Let's say mom and dad say, I want to give my house to my kids. Then that becomes due and payable. Or if you pay off your first, then that has to be paid back. And you pay the 20% plus 20% of the profit. So let's say you bought it for $500,000 and you sell it for $700,000, then there's a $200,000 profit, then there's 20% of that you pay back on top of your 20% that you received for the down payment. That's sort of the little bit of a hiccup. However, it allows you to buy a house with 20% down, so I think it's still.
And the interest rate will be the same, like everybody else?
Actually, no. Actually, that's a very good question. The interest rate is assigned by CalHFA. So they are the ones that have the rate for your first. What's gonna be the rate on that?
So yeah, no buyouts, no negotiations, no nothing.
Correct.
And you don't know what is the interest rate?
Well, we know what the rate is now,
Yeah, but in that moment,
but yes, I don't, but it's like right now. Let's say you send me a client. So I don't want that to be a negative, because let's say you send me a client and they get pre-qualified, and I qualify them with 5% at 6.5. 2 months go by and they finally go into escrow. Well, we have to look at the rates at that
in
time,
that time.
right? So it's something similar to this. It's not good or bad. It's just, we just have to be aware. But what I normally tell the clients when they start, the first thing they do, they walk in, they say, well, what are today's rates? Well, at the end of the day, I can tell you what they are today, but not until you actually go into escrow and you lock your rate.
Yeah.
And that's when that's when we're gonna have that conversation about, do you wanna buy down the rate? Do you wanna pay points? What's your plan? Are you gonna stay there for 5 years? Are you gonna make it a rental property in the beginning? Do you have other income? I mean, there's all these different questions before you worry about the rate when you first visit a loan officer. So I go into detail when I talk to your clients on that. So kind of thought I'd touch up on that a little bit because I know Ashley was talking about it. I know it can be discouraging sometimes because you feel like, well, my name goes in the pot and what if I don't get selected? Because they only have so many funds, so much money allocated for that. However, there is the other CalHFA and the funds are there. So that there's always a backup. So normally I would say if you come to me and you want to buy and you want to go in there, I'll say, well, let's pre-qualify you for the other one as well. Because if your name does not get selected, we can still buy a house. And here's the way the other one works. Does that explain a little bit? I know it's a little bit of more information than we're used to when we buy a house, but it's still a good program. I do talk to clients and I don't discourage them from taking advantage of any benefits out there available for first-time home buyers. So don't be shy. Stop by, ask me, call me. I'll be happy to pre-qualify your clients.
So how do they verify whether or not the parent owned a home?
I think I believe, I don't know, Lala, but I believe you just complete your application, right? And
Yeah, well, CalHFA, what they said was, they're gonna have investigations done on every single file. So, people say, oh, yeah, my parents don't have a property in the United States, not just nationally, not just here. They will have investigations on every single file. So, they're gonna have you sign like an affidavit or, a disclosure saying, to the best of my knowledge, I swear, perjury and all that fun stuff, that, to the best of my knowledge, my parents don't own a home. Whether they haven't taken any title in any type of real estate property
7
at
years.
that time.
So if the person
7 years.
did not talk to their parent or doesn't have any contact, then they would say to the best of knowledge, I
Well,
wouldn't know.
They have certain cases like for foster kids, foster homes. So, once again, that's a by exception only type of thing. But they are allocating 220 million for homeowners this year. Last year, they were able to help 2,000 homeowners buy a house that they normally wouldn't have bought if they didn't go through this program. So, it's opening the doors to generational wealth. Basically, those that could not afford to buy. So that's what Sylvia was discussing last week. If you guys didn't go, she was talking about her experience as a first-time home buyer and her parents. So that's what the intention and the goal is for this.
And does it
program.
count for mobile homes like it did the other one or no?
No.
Only
Actually,
manufactured homes permanently
Yeah,
affixed.
it has to be from him. Yeah.
well, not to use it, but like how if it was owned before that didn't count as first time. So does the mobile home still count as ownership
No,
for the parents?
No,
It's just mainly for
Same,
first
okay.
generation.
Yeah. And they go back 7 years instead of the 3
3?
years.
That's
Yeah.
it sounds like
Yeah,
that's
so,
different.
It's a
they're
little different.
targeting, they're
Yes.
targeting a certain demographic, and that's why it's a lottery, and, but they're trying to make it fair across the, all of California, from north to south, all the way, Yeah, but there's. a
And it
lot
may or
of
may
different
not work
rates.
for people. You may
That's
be
what I
one
mean.
that says, I don't wanna pay 20% of my profit.
Yeah,
And-
exactly.
And that's
It's a
okay.
deal breaker for someone, yeah.
Exactly. So it has to work for your clients, but I definitely, I don't know, I feel that when I meet clients, I try to give them all the options, explain to them the program, the ins and outs of it, and then they decide if it's something that works for them or not. And some people, I have a lot of clients that I get referred, they want to come in with down payment assistance programs and want to explain to them everything. They say, can I use my 401k instead? Can I do this? Yes, you can. And then I end up flipping them to not using it. Not that it's a bad thing, it's just, did you know that we can also do these other programs for you? And let's compare, and then you decide what works for you. And some clients decide doesn't work for me, and some say, yeah, I still want to use it, and it works for me, I don't mind if it stays on my property as a second, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, thank you for your time, guys.
Well, one more thing I just wanted to say, I don't know if you guys tuned into the Federal Reserve, there were some announcements going on about the interest rates, because everybody was hoping that they were gonna cut the rates. They decided not to cut the interest rates, and they anticipate it's gonna stay kind of the status quo. There was a live thing going on today with Powell about, why they chose that, and so if you get a chance, go in there and kind of listen into that, but to make everything, just to summarize everything, it's the status quo and the interest rates, so people are still gonna look to like buy them down. They're still, I think they went up a little bit to like 7%. So they're still wanting to bring the inflation down. So that's why they're keeping the rates high. That's where we're taking our crystal ball and kind of forecasting it. But it looks like we're gonna have a little bit more of what we're experiencing right now going forward. What I did see with my open house last week was I had more buyers, and it seems to be prices are dropping slightly, like maybe 5%, but we are seeing more activity with buyers. I did see more buyers, and I'm seeing listing prices that were probably priced higher are coming down now. So that's where we're at.
People are getting used to it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get
I
used
think
to
it's
it.
the new norm.
They've
They're just
already
realizing,
Yeah.
yeah, they're adjusting.
Yeah, but it
It's
was
like generational, seems like.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They were like, would I rent or should I just buy? I'll just buy.
And they have to
Yeah.
at some point either move or buy.
Well, now
Yeah,
these
so
people
that's
that did sell high, and then obviously we're competing for things that didn't exist. Well, now they're doing their taxes and saying,
Mhm.
oh, yeah, I might have paid the same in my rent, but now look what I get to pay too.
Oh, for
So
sure.
Yeah.
regardless, I
sure,
need to go
yeah.
do something, at least have something for it.
And then one thing that this is new, this is something that I in so many years that I've been in lending, I've never experienced this, that the rates seem to be better with clients that are in the 600s, high 600s, than in the 700s.
What?
I
Yeah.
priced a
Really?
client,
It's interesting.
I
Why
priced
is
it,
that?
Because of your Gavin Newsom.
I
don't know.
so I priced a client, their FICO
Good
scores
credit, don't
were
get
higher,
good.
and they were 760, 780, so. Then I priced another client, we're almost 1% lower, because they were in the
Paper letter won't work.
670s.
Interesting.
Well, no, I heard
So,
part of it had to do with the fact usually to get the higher ones, you usually have to have more credit, which means it may not be used now, but they're looking at it as a possible risk that, oh, your credit scores is high because you have all these loans or credits that are open, but we don't know you're not going to use them. And then that's how they got higher. And then usually people with lower, it's not
So
as
there's a
much.
lot going on
They
in
all-
the
Yeah,
lending
that's
world for
definitely
sure,
different.
but definitely
Yeah.
keep sending your buyers, guys, and send them in. I usually tell them, when I talk to clients and they're like, well, I want to wait and I want to buy this summer. And I said, make an appointment. There's zero cost. I won't run your credit because it's costly. It's almost $100 to run a credit. I don't have to, but you have an idea what your FICO scores
Almost
are.
everybody. Yeah.
Let's do numbers and let's find out where you
Mhm.
need to be in 3 months or 6 months,
Prepare.
so that you know, oh, I need more money, or I need more, oh, I don't need it, or I'm ready. And you'll be surprised how many people actually do come back 3 months later, 6 months later, because they know what to do now. So,
And it
Yeah,
gives
and
them
I
that
know
goal
she
to move
does follow
towards.
through. She does follow through, because I sent her some files that I'm like, here's one list, so yeah, where are we at? We're at, so, there's a plan to get them there. So I can say my own personal experience
Thank
with
you,
her with
Lala.
my files.
Thank you. So,
She follows.
all right, well, it's a pleasure seeing all of you guys. Good luck out there.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Tuesday onward, so.